This is the video where I'm going to show the Bible code and the term that suggests that the rapture is indeed a real event and not just a metaphor. And it came to me when I was doing codes, and I saw the word conqueror or subjugator, and when I looked that up along with a term for my name, so that there'd be a certain point in history that you could measure by. My name plus conqueror and subjugator, that term, which in Hebrew are spelled by the letters C-U-B-S, and the letter for S could be the same letter for S-H, which spells cubs. The letter for U could be an O, but otherwise, when I look at it, it's at C-U-B-S-H. That's the way I look at it. Now, I have to explain a little bit, set this up before I show you the code, because there's some terms in there that need to be possibly explained. First of all, if you've seen the other videos I've done, I've talked about possible signs from God. In Acts 2:17, it says, "In the last days, there will be prophecies and visions, and God will send omens from the skies above and signs to earth below." So if these are the last days, certainly it's possible I could have seen signs. Like the one on October 13th, 2011, where I had a warning dream from Jesus that said, "For every 5,000 Christian martyrs killed, a city shall be destroyed, the first Pittsburgh, and they will ask you standard against me." It was the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles, and 1 year earlier, the sign that came to me suggesting paralysis could be cured using clues from the Bible code came on the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles 1 year earlier. Now, the reason I bring Pittsburgh up and the warning dream is that, in retrospect, this Jesus warning dream probably represents the fifth seal in the book of Revelations of the martyrs, where it says, "Underneath the altar of the souls that have been slain because of the word of God and because of testimony which they maintained, they were underneath the altar, crying, 'How long, O Lord, until we refrain from judging and avenging our blood?' And each of them was giving a white robe." Now, the people in the dream all had a white robe, and certainly the dream talks about Pittsburgh possibly being destroyed, and all the people in the dream were wearing white. Now, the thing about excuse me. The thing about, in English, the word was definitely expressed killed, but in Hebrew, the word for killed is also looted or robbed, and that means that there's a possibility that seeing Jesus as a thief who comes in the night, as it's referred to in the Bible, that these people are not killed, but possibly raptured, and that perhaps there are people being killed and raptured at the same time in the same city. Anything is possible, but it's not necessarily means that people were actually killed. From my experience using this code, maybe the message here is that they're being raptured. And the thing about that here, even a discovery I just made today, that the rapture in Buddhism is a common translation of the Pali word piti, P-I-T-I, which is a factor of meditative absorption. So, using the Bible code, you'll see a lot of different words somehow almost relating by their spellings, as there's a message trying to be conveyed to you. So, piti, P-I-T-I, and here's as being brought together with the word rapture. So, when I'm talking about Pittsburgh possibly being raptured, and I see this today, it just adds more fuel to the fire. Now, the word rapture, in old French, meant an act of carrying off, or from medieval Latin raptura, seizing, to seize, rape, kidnapping, raptus, carrying off. And in Greek, the verb used in the Bible when they're talking about the rapture, it means to be caught up or taken away. So the word rapture is actually never used, but that's the way it's often used in the Bible. But in the Greek, it was meaning to be caught up or taken away. And then in the old days, it was being used as perhaps being seized, kidnapped, like stolen away. And Jesus is coming like a thief in the night. So the thing is, when you look back at the term conquering, when they talked about the pale rider on the white horse, the first seal, the first in the book of Revelations, said he went out conquering and to conquer. Then there's a phrase called "he who overcomes," which is often used in let's say the book of Revelations, and often it's referring to several different things. The grant to eat to the tree of life is to he who overcomes. But yet another website that tries to go translate as best as possible, because there are probably 20 different translations of the book of Revelation, or not book of Revelation, of the Bible, 20 different translations of the Bible. They try to get as close to English from the original Greek and Aramaic as they can. That's 2001translation.com. And they say the word is he who conquers, for example, will eat from the tree of life. And so instead of he who overcomes, they are always using he who conquers. And there's different places in the book of Revelations talking about he who overcomes, such as, to he who overcomes, I will grant him to sit down with me on my throne, as I also overcame and sat down with my Father on his throne. But the word conquers, or conqueror, or he who conquers, would also be used in place of that. And the reason that's important is because what I'm looking up is the word conqueror or subjugator. So that's being equated with he who overcomes. Now, and at that point, that's where we find the term the rapture, where we look up the word conqueror. And so that perhaps he who overcomes, the people who overcome, maybe they are the ones being raptured. They are the ones who are the conquerors. 1 Thessalonians 4:16-17 says that his actual term that refers to the rapture, for the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive and remain will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so we shall always be with the Lord. So those terms, caught up together, in the clouds, in the air, will be expressed when referring to this rapture, as well as other terms. Now, one of the words that also shows up right next to rapture is the word third. And so I don't know what that term exactly means, but third shows up in several different important things. In Luke 12:37-39, it says, "Blessed are those slaves who the master will find on the alert when he comes. Truly I say to you that he will gird himself to serve, and have them recline at the table, and they will come up and wait upon them. Whether he comes in the second watch, which is 9 p.m. to midnight, or even in the third, that's midnight to 3 a.m., and finds them so, blessed are those slaves. But be sure of this, that if the head of the house had known at what hour the thief was coming, he would not have allowed his house to be broken into." So the reference to a thief coming is made, which would represent Jesus. And it says whether he comes in the second or third watch. So, and a third watch referring first to a time of night, back in the ancient days. And that third watch is from midnight to 3 a.m. There's, in terminology with the Hebrews and these ancient religions, judgment was from 9 to midnight. And then mercy and compassion was from midnight to 3 a.m. So first came judgment, and then came mercy. And mercy would be the third watch. And so we see the word third next to rapture at that point. Now in Revelation 9:18, a third of mankind is killed by 3 plagues, by fire, smoke, and brimstone. Now, me looking at Pittsburgh destroyed often seems like a plague is going to destroy it, but there's 3 plagues that destroy a third of mankind. That's fire, smoke, and brimstone. So even though I'm seeing plague, maybe it's fire, smoke, and brimstone. Now, also, the third seal, that is famine or bad economic times, is also the black horse with a pair of scales in its hand. Now, in the in the dream on April 25th, with a baby and a dog, and the dog represents war, and he represents plague, and the olive green horse, or the ashen horse, the dog represents the second seal, which is war, and the fourth seal, which is death and plagues. And the dog was a olive kind of colored, but also with a kind of strange silvery tinge to his short hair, and he had 2 wounds on his back, 2 red wounds. So if you think about it, the 2 wounds could represent the 2 for the second seal. And I go back and I talk about the third seal, which is the black horse. In the dream, of course, there's a dog that's hurt and he's dying, and he's got these 2 wounds on his back, and he runs out towards the street. And then there's a little baby, white baby, with golden hair, who represents the first seal. He represents Jesus. And he chases after his dog. And when he runs out to a black platform, and he falls off the black platform to the earth, into mud. Now, looking at that, it makes me think that the black platform is the black horse, or the third seal. And the thing about the black platform is that there was 2 more platforms beneath it. So looking back on this, the 3 platforms would be representative of the third seal, and the black horse, and the baby jumping off that platform to the earth. It represents his coming back, but the 2 wounds representing war on the could be the 2 represents the second seal on the dog. So you're going to see the word third, and let's see what else we have here. Okay, so one last thing to look here before we go to the matrix and the code. The word you'll see the word rector, and it's from Latin, meaning ruler, governor, or guide, and it was used originally for Roman governors or talking about God. So we're going to see the word rector pop up, and that's going to refer to God. So now we'll go to the code. Okay, so this is the Bible code, and here's the term with my name, and then the word conqueror or subjugator, which, as I said in the Bible, refers to where the the man on the white horse is coming, and he's a conqueror. So that represents Jesus coming. I'll be jumping around, showing you these words. And to try to do it quickly. So This is the word rapture. Down here is the word synchronize, which in many codes in recent times I've been starting to see the word synchronize all the time, as if all the events that are happening now are being done in a synchronized way. Here you can see where that shows the words and how they're spelled. And that's the word for rapture also means inflaming or ecstasy. So, but we're going to see other words that refer to something of a rapture nature. I'll go to some of those next. Here we see the word cripple, and this is the word synchronize, but there's also the word heal here. And as perhaps you already know, by using the Bible code to cure paralysis and spinal cord injuries, it will prove to the men who have the power to start and stop wars that there is a God and that there's no reason for each other to be killing each other, so we can stop that. And by doing that, we can avoid a great calamity, which could be the tribulation and judgment day and the rapture, and there would be no need for a rapture. And the idea is that we can put it off, postpone it, or delay it, or stop it if people come to their senses. And so here's the word cripple, which is also the same word for paraplegic. And so you see the word synchronize, and here's cripple. There's cripple up here at the top, heading right on the word conqueror. And there's cripple again, right back down here by synchronize, where the word heal would be. So if people work together and we find the cure for paralysis and paraplegics, then maybe we can avoid having terrible circumstances. And I think that the Bible code is showing that here. Now, it may seem like a contradiction, that we're talking about perhaps a rapture coming, but we're also saying that it seems to me the Bible code shows, and of course from the real life spiritual experience I've had, that these things can be postponed, delayed, put off. It doesn't have to happen. And it seems it's kind of strange, but maybe not so, because if you remember in the story of Jonah and Nineveh was going to be destroyed. Even Sodom and Gomorrah was going to be destroyed. But if they could have found people to change, they could have avoided destruction. So we have possible destruction coming now, and God is giving us a way out. And so here's the word delayed, which is kind of words I'll see that refer to that delaying of destruction. And I go down a little bit, and we see that here's the word detaining. So here's delayed and detaining, that are representing, of course, putting off the all the terrible things. But here's the word rapture running into detaining or delaying. Here's delaying rapture, and here's detaining. I'll show you some other words that come into this, and those are evil. We're delaying and detaining and delaying evil from coming. Okay, so here's delaying, here's detaining, here's the word evil. We're detaining evil. Here pops evil over here. Delaying rapture evil. Here's evil again, a longer word. Detaining evil, and evil just showed back up here. Now we come to the word evildoer. Here's the word evildoer. And it may look like the same word, but it's not the same, because there's an H. This is R-A-H, and this is M-R-A. M-R-A. So that's evil and evildoer, but they're popping up in the same place. So we're detaining evil and evildoers. See, back up over here. And the word evildoer, again, going in the opposite direction, touching on detaining. Now this is the word that's relating to the rapture, and it's the word elevation. And here's elevation, and here again is elevation. So this is by the word delaying elevation, and this touches here, and that's detaining elevation. And elevation is of course referring to the rapture. Now here in these little red letters, it represents the word absence. Okay, absence. Now, before all the things that have happened recently, I would have said that I would have thought that if such a thing as a rapture was going to occur, it would occur in the year 2039 or 2040, which is frequently seen in the Bible code just as much as the year 1939 and 1940. So, and of course 1939, 1940 is the start of World War II. And so if we look at 2039-40, we'll see, you could see those red letters, and that shoots right across the word rapture. And there, once again, here's the red letters go down, 2039-40, touching on the letters or the word that went across down rapture. So even this suggests that it would be 2039 or 2040 when the rapture might come. But because of all the recent events, it seems like it would be much, much sooner if such a thing is going to happen. Also, sometimes I'll see references to the word anti, such as this, A-N-T-E. I can see where here was rapture, detaining, elevation. And then we put the word anti there. Now, perhaps if this is referring to the Antichrist, perhaps it's saying detaining the elevation of the Antichrist. Now this anti is referring, the word here refers to gambling. Makes me think sometimes, is the Antichrist going to be a gambler? Here we see the word arisen at the top of the word conqueror or subjugator. Arisen as in the people being raptured, rising up. Arisen right there. Here we find the word ascendant coming. Here's delaying, ascendant, elevation. Here's the word Elul, which is the word for September. I'm showing that because perhaps September is the month that something happens someday in the future. Now I put September there because now we come to the word checkout, which may also be the word finale or final. And you see how close it's to the word September. Now all these things get much more exciting, folks. Bear with me. Here we have the word cloud. And now here comes some real excitement. Now here's the word conqueror, of course. Here's the word conquered. And then where do we also find another word, conquered? So, as you can see here, here's conqueror. There was conquered. Here's the word detaining or delaying, whichever one. Conquered, and then going in the opposite direction, touching on the word September and touching on the word cloud, conquered again. Now, of course, the most important thing is Jesus. And So here are the places we see Jesus in this matrix. And right there is key, because that's the bottom of this, one of the bottom of the terms. And Jesus, of course, refers to in the rapture. There's Jesus again. Now this is the word elevation. Here's Jesus. Here's the word Jesus and the word Jesus touching. And the word Jesus up here. Here we see the word cloud, and we had seen the word Jesus touch here. Here's Jesus, cloud, and this is the word July. That would make us think perhaps something would happen at some point in July. There's July at the bottom. July to the side. And here's July, where the words are ascendant and elevation and detaining. Although the rapture may be far off, there's words that make us think that maybe it's closer than we think. Here, where the word is checkout or finale or final, is the word in red immediate. And as we scroll down, we'll see the word imminent. And of course, this is the word Jesus. Now we have the word imminent. And there was the word immediate. Now I went a little bit backwards to try to, when you start to put too many words here, you get confused. But I went back to the word conquered, and as we see that we have the word conquered running across here. Here's September, here's cloud, here's July. The word Jesus was here. So this is July, cloud, conquered, Jesus. Remember, we're supposed to go up in the clouds. So then we go to the other word, conquered. And you notice how the two words conquered both touch on the same letter at the bottom there? Well, this is Jesus. And here's conquered going one way. Here's conquered going the other way. So now we have Jesus, conquered. And here's the word imminent. And this is the word detaining or delayed. But this is pretty exciting because we're going to see a couple more words right now that relate to this. So let's not forget. Jesus, conquered, imminent, conquered, September, July, cloud, Jesus. Now, because we would want to avoid the word for, we're trying to avoid the destruction of Pittsburgh. Here's the word pit, which would represent Pittsburgh. And we see that its pit is part of the word imminent. And we see pit, once again, up where it says conquered, cloud, July, Jesus. So there's pit getting in the action. Here's the word pitiable. That's the word September. And remember, we have the word pit right here. And even the word rapture itself means P-I-T-I in some Buddhist type of language. But here's pitiable, suggesting Pittsburgh could be key. Now here we find another word that refers to the rapture, and that word is plucked. Plucked right there, hitting into the word rapture itself. Here's imminent, Jesus, plucked, rapture, and of course we saw the words elevation twice in all this. Here's the word highlighted, preventable. Preventable, showing that perhaps there's no need for a rapture if mankind changes his ways. Here we find, when we saw the words elevation, but another term for elevation is raised. So here we have imminent, raised. Now remember, the subject, we're talking about the rapture here. So here's raised. There's raised again. And here's the word raising. Now watch this carefully. It pops up right here across the word raised is raising, which touches on the word checkout or final. Here's the word immediate. And here's the word conqueror, of course. So immediate, finale, checkout, raising, raised. This is what I talk about when I say the words will come together, meaning the same things that give you hints as to a message being sent. Here we find the word recreate, which is running right across the word cloud and July. So maybe referring to recreation of earth with the new government, the kingdom of God. That's recreate. And here's the word rector. Remember I told you about the word rector in the beginning? Here's the word imminent. And rector represents God, or someone being guided. And in this case, I would say Jesus guiding us in the rapture. So there's rector. So that's the presence of God. Sometimes the people be raptured are referred to as a remnant. And here we find remnant. And here we have the word remove, which is running up by Jesus, conquered, July, cloud, remove. Here's the word renter, such as the people are being rented out or being pulled out. The term rent is like another word for being pulled out. So there's renter, which was remnant was here. Here's renter. Here's the word reprise, up at the top where we saw the word recreate. And of course this is cloud and July and Jesus and conquer, reprised, the second coming, recreate, the second coming here. That could be right there, that's reprise. Then we have the word resonator. And if you ever wondered how people are going to be raptured up into the sky, perhaps they're being resonated by sound somehow. And that goes right across where we saw the word remnant and renter. And here we have resonator. Here we have the word return. Just where we had a remnant and renter and imminent and conquered. And here's the word return. Who's returning? This word return touching just under where the word Jesus is. Even after all these words talking about being uplifted and such. Here's the word rise. And of course, we all know, once again, cloud, July, conquered, Jesus, and the word rise now. And here's the word risen, and I believe this is the word September. Often referring to Jesus as a robber or a thief in the night. Here's the word robot or robot, and of course this is the word delaying or detaining or delaying. So, and here's the robot or the robber. Here we have the word rose, and we have the word rose again, right on top of the robbing robot. Here we have the word salvation, right mixing up where it says July and cloud and conquered and rise and all those good things. I just said salvation. Well, here's the word salver. Where do we find it? Right there where Jesus is, running into the word conqueror. Salver. Here's a little play on words. You're saying salver, salvation. Salvation's over here. Salver was over here. Here's the word savory, which is touching right up again to the clouds in July and conquered in Jesus. Savory. Saving people. Savory. See how the Bible code works? One of the things Jesus said was, I came not to make peace, I came to separate. And one of the forms of the word for separate is would be sedulous, which is in the red down here, but the word sedition as well, meaning separating. And as we see the word sedition here, here's the word imminent. And of course we had all these other words about rising and salvation and savory, and well, if you're going to separate the people so that they can be saved in the rapture, you would be perhaps having sedition. And now we come to the word that I think was the game changer in terms of thinking, is the rapture just a metaphor or is it for a real event? And that word is skylight. Here we see the word skylight at the end of the word rapture, and here is the word elevation or raising and ascendant, and here's skylight. And then we see it a second time touching on the word imminent, word Jesus, and conquered. So we have this word skylight a second time. And the thing is, one of the quotes in the Bible is that you're going to see Jesus coming in the sky with great power and glory. And the whole world's perhaps going to look up and see it. And here we see the word skylight. Referring to the rapture, there's some kind of skylight. Now this word skylight also means the word fan light. And oddly enough, just in the past week or so, my friend's computer, he has a fan on the inside of his computer to blow air and cool things. And the fan fell. It had rubber connectors, and I guess they broke, came off, and the fan fell. Well, this fan is not just a fan, it's also a light. It's lit up by LED diodes. So it's a fan light. And the fan light fell. And of course, as I've told you about in the dream where the baby falls to earth, and just a couple days ago, a 7-year-old and a 10-month-old fell out of third-story windows, and both lived and were barely hurt. So you have children falling in the news. It was even filmed. Just like, and in the dream I said the baby fell from 30 to 50 feet high, and 3 stories is 30, at least 30 feet high. So things are falling, and then the fan light is falling, and it suggests to me that something could be imminent. So remember, we have the word skylight, skylight, and here's imminent and conquered. And Jesus has come like a thief in the night. Well, here's the word stealer. Where's that pop up? Oh, look at that. Look where stealer popped up. Stealer, skylight, conquered, rapture. And Pittsburgh, of course, is the Steel City. Here we find the word stirrup. Stirrup, as such as uplifting, such as the rapture. We're stirring people up and lifting them up. Here we have the word summer, which is a word that you don't see too often. And summer, of course, is running straight up and down where the word immediate would be. Here we find the word suppressed, which is one of those words that leads me to believe, just like detained and delaying, that we don't necessarily have to have a rapture. And we see the word suppressed there. And then also the word suspensory, which runs right across rapture. So those words suggest to me that perhaps things could be halted if people change. I've talked before about that something may happen, or could have happened, during the sign of Taurus, April 20 to May 20th of this year. But also I then discovered that the 8th month of the Hebrew calendar, usually known as Cheshvan, is also called Bull, B-U-L, and the word for Taurus is also the word for bull. So here's the word, and this year it runs from October 15th to November 15th, giving us an idea that if something were to happen to Pittsburgh, it could be in that time frame. And here is only showing one word, Taurus, in this matrix. And there it is where it says robot and detained or delaying. Now here's where I was talking earlier about the word third, and perhaps talking about the third sign or third seal of the apocalypse. But and maybe before all that happens, the third sign or the third seal, maybe there's a rapture. But so here in red is the word third, mixing in with the word rapture. But there's also the word ternary, which means 3, but it's not the same full word. And here I'm going to highlight ternary now, and you'll see. But keep your eyes on the red, and I'll light up the word ternary, which means 3. See, one of those letters disappeared. This is ternary in red. And you add a T to that in Hebrew, and that becomes third. So here you have 2 words for third, ternary and third, running right into the rapture word. Here it's highlighted again, and you can see for yourself it means third by looking at it. Within this matrix, you'll probably want to say, well, where's the word tribulation? There's one word for tribulation. There's the other word for tribulation, which is all connected right here. Tribulation, it's a rector, and skylight, and imminent, and Jesus, and conquered. Tribulation right there. Now, in all this, referring to the rapture and stuff, here's the word Warsaw, which to me represents there's war going on, and perhaps major World War III. And of course, there's running into the rapture was the word third and ternary. And as a matter of fact, there was a word Thrincia, which I believe means 3. That was I saw running across here. So here's Warsaw, talking about war. Yeah, I went back where the word Warsaw was these 4 letters right here, Warsaw. And these red letters are the word Thrincia. Thrincia. So if World War III was to happen and it was a nuclear holocaust, you would quite possibly have a rapture to protect you. Now, of course, we're supposed to be taken up into the sky. So we would want to look at the words up in this to see what we can see. Here's the word elevation or rising, and here's the word up. There's up near where it's synchronized, the word synchronize. This word up touches on September and July. Here's the word uphill, which was also, I believe, the word ascent. Here's the word uphill again, which is crossing over probably Jesus and imminent. Here's uphold, upland, here's the word uplift. This word uplift is running right at the top of the word robot. Here is the word uplifting. Running across imminent and rector and conquered and skylight. Here we have the word uproarious. There's the word uptake. Here's the word upturned. There's the word upturned again. Okay, well, that looks like that's as much as I can tell you for now on this Bible code it's about the rapture. You'll see here all the words that I put down. We have the rapture, we have synchronize, we have September, we have ascendant, we have checkout, cloud, conquered, which was there twice, along with the conqueror, delayed, detaining, elevation, immediate, imminent, July, pitiable, plucked, raising, rector, reprise, return, rise, robot, salvation, savory, sedition, skylight, stealer, stir up, ternary, tribulation, Warsaw, uphill, upland, uplift, uplifting, uproarious, upturned. But the key ones that were here that are kind of a mess were when we saw Jesus and imminent and skylight and rector and conquered, and they were skylight twice and conquered twice along with conqueror, and of course rapture and the third, and all those things suggesting that the rapture, even though you may not call it the rapture, when you're being, and I've looked at other codes and looking in regards to the rapture and seeing the words taken or uptake, and but also words referring to postponement, and like I said, you saw here delaying, delayed, that perhaps could be stopped. So for all I know, it could happen this year, it could happen in what's left of July, September, October, maybe another year. But it looks, from this one, it looks like it's not just a metaphor, but some kind of skylight, some kind of real event. And I think that's all I know about it for now. But I said I'd make this video to show you people, and perhaps if this could persuade world leaders to stop the violence and change their ways, I hope it helps. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.